first I'll tell you about the leap year case. So in a leap year, if the date is on or before 29 Feb, then we subtract 1. Otherwise, we'll take it as a normal year. For example, today is 20th April 2020. Okay, so the date, so 2020 is a leap year because it's divisible by 4. Also, every 4th century is a leap year. So for finding out if a century is a leap year or not, you need to check if it's divisible by 400. So 2020 is a leap year, but the date is not on or before 29 Feb, right? So we need to take 20th April as a normal date. So our first step would be writing the date, which is 20. Second would be code of April. April's code is 05. Then the last 2 digits of the year, which is 20. Fourth step would be these last 2 digits divisible by 4. We need to check the quotient. So we'll write the quotient there. So 4 into 5 is 20. And our quotient is 5. So after that, we need to check if the date is in the 21st century or the 20th century. So 2020 is in the 21st century. So I don't need to add or subtract anything. So I'll repeat again. First step was writing the date. Second step was code for the month. So April is 05. Then third was writing the last 2 digits of the year. Then fourth step was year divided by 4. We'll always divide it by 4. And we will check the quotient. And then if it's not a leap year and the century is 21st century, so I don't need to add or subtract anything. So this makes it 50. And the last part is dividing the sum by 7. And we will check the remainder. The remainder is 1. And 1 indicates that today is Monday. So today is Monday, right? I'll repeat. Our first step was writing the date. So we wrote 20 here. And then April, the code was 5. So we wrote 5 from this place. And then 20. And then we divided 20 by 4 and we wrote the quotient, which was 5. We added everything. And the date is not before 29 Feb, 20th April 2020. It is a leap year, but date is after 29 Feb. So we did not subtract 1. Okay. And century, it's 21st century. So we simply divide the sum by 7 and we get our answer. Let us take another case now. So 15th August 1947. I hope everybody knows what happened on this day. So 15th August 1947. Our first step now, 1947 is what? This is 20th century, right? And code for August is 1. So our first step would be writing the date. Then code for August is 01. Then last 2 digits of the year, 47. Then we will divide 47 by 4. So 11 into 4 is 44. We don't care about the remainder. We are only interested in the quotient. Now, this is not a leap year, but this is in the 20th century. So we also need to add 1 before dividing by 7. So let's add it. 5 plus 6, 7, 14, and 15. So this is 75. And what was the last step? Dividing by 7. So 7 into 10 is 70. Remainder is 5. 5 was Friday. Right? Let's take a date which falls in the leap year and the date is before 29 Feb. So I'll first repeat this. So our first step was date. Second step was code of the month. Then year, last 2 digits, only this one. Then year divided by 4. We'll check the question. And so this was the question when year was divided by 4. And this is for 20th century. And this is not a leap year, so we did not subtract 1. Sum was 75, we divided it by 7. The remainder was 5, and 5 was Friday. Let's take 12th February 2020. Okay, so 12, first is date. Now, what was the code for February? 02. Now, we'll write the last 2 digits of the year, and then the year divided by 4. We'll check the quotient. Quotient is 5. Now, this date was before 29 Feb, right? And 2020 is a leap year. So we need to subtract 1 before dividing by 7. So let me write this one for the leap year. And we are in the 21st century, so I don't need to add or subtract anything else. So this was yeah, so this is 39 minus 1 is 38. Now we will divide it by 7. 7 into 5, 35. The remainder is 3. And 3 is Wednesday. Okay. So what we did was, first was the date. Second was the code for the month February, which is 02. Then third was last 2 digits of the year. Fourth was writing the quotient when we divided the year by 4. Okay, so we wrote 5 here. And minus 1 because the date is before 29th Feb. So our sum was 39. We subtracted 1 for the leap year, which made it 38. Since we divided it by 7. So that's the last step. 7 into 5 is 35. Remainder was 3. Now, remainder 3 means it was a Wednesday. Thank you so much. So for part 2 and part 3 of calendar, you can log into www.coach.com. Thank you.